Hey guys, Joe from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, September the 20th, 2013. If you're wondering why I am dressed this way, I just came from a funeral. A good friend of mine just lost his 13-year-old. And I'm almost speechless here. You know, you do everything you're supposed to do. You don't think these things will happen, but they do. I wonder how. I mean, it bothers me so much. It's got to bother him even more. He got home from work the other night, regular normal day. Went online and got the dreaded MC 999 violation from eBay. eBay terminated his 13-year seller account. You didn't think I was talking about something else, did you? No. I wanted to be a little dramatic to impress upon you how important this is. One of my subscribers, a longtime subscriber, one of you, one of us, lost his 13-year seller account. This is freaking shocking. I'll talk more about him later. I just wanted something to lead in with, to bait you if I may. First of all, let me tell you the schedule of today's video. First, we're going to talk about last week's video, rehash, and I'm going to answer your comments and your questions. Then we're going to move on to the main focus about eBay hiding seller listings and bragging about it. Then we're going to talk about my friend's account. And then if we have time, we're going to talk about current events. I have an interesting news story, non-eBay related, I'd like to talk about. But let's get started. I'm going to jump right in here. Alright, first of all, most of these questions I'm just going to answer randomly, except for the first one, which was submitted by a longtime subscriber, Fast Eddie. He has several questions and issues he wants me to address, so we're just going to get into that right now, if I may. He had another case opened against him when the buyer never contacted him ahead of time. Alright? This has been an ongoing problem with eBay. In some cases, the buyers just don't care. They go right to opening a case. In some cases, the buyers don't mean to open a case, but eBay opens it for them, and the result is it hurts the seller. Okay? In this case, a person claimed they did not receive an item that Fast Eddie sent them. However, Fast Eddie uploaded the tracking info. It had been uploaded and it showed that it was delivered through the post office. Yet, the person was allowed to open a allowed to open a dispute and say the item was never received. So Fast Eddie wants to know, number one, why does eBay and PayPal allow this when the tracking number is clearly there? Quite frankly, I don't know. I don't know. It does sort of fly in the face of reality. The best case scenario is the guy could say, well, the item wasn't as described. You know, it arrived, but it didn't match your description. But as far as not arriving, I don't see how that would hold up in a court of law. Okay? Next, Fast Eddie was also mentioning about the fact that can a seller neg him? Can a buyer neg him if he got the item and claims he didn't get it? For instance, he could leave Eddie negative feedback and say item not received when it clearly shows an item was delivered to the guy. Will eBay allow that? I think they will. Should they? I don't think so. But guys, it's a buyer-friendly environment. Always has been, always will be. It's something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully in the coming months it will be addressed. Fast Eddie was also talking about USPS. Eddie seems to be a big supporter of the post office, and he says that they are now giving $100 worth of insurance for free on all your shipments. And with all due respect, Eddie thinks this is a great deal. I am not a big fan of the post office, and I'll tell you why. And I'll invite your comments. Have any of you guys ever lost a shipment with the post office or had a problem when you had tracking, and you get down to the post office and you say, listen, I got a problem. My item's lost. The guy says he didn't get it. What have they told you? In my case, they have never once been helpful to me. They say to me, you have to go online. You have to go online. And they shoo me out the door like the forgotten son. I find the post office to be very unhelpful with tracking items. So if they're going to give you $100 worth of free insurance, to me, that's worth nothing. Because they're not going to give you, they're saying they're going to do it, but try and go there and get it. Say, hey, my $100 box of brand new Nike shoes were lost. What are you going to do for me? Go online. Get out of here, kid. You bother me. And I'm not being disrespectful, Eddie. That's my personal feeling, because that's happened to me. Whereas with the UPS, I've never had a problem. Have things turned up missing? Sure they have. All I do is I call UPS. I say, on September 1st, I shipped an item to John Smith. He says he never got it. And you know what they say? We'll take care of it for you, Joe. Now maybe it's because I'm a volume shipper. Maybe. I don't know. But they've always taken care of it. Either they find the item, if it was delivered to the wrong house, and they send it to the right house, or they reimburse me for the money. I provide a receipt, and they reimburse me. And it's no problem. So that's topic number one. Fast Eddie also wants to know why I object to people contacting me outside of eBay. I freaking hate that. Because, Eddie, you got to understand something. If you sell a guy an item for $100, he gets it and he's not happy for some reason. It's his privilege where he can contact me through eBay and say, I'm not happy. Can I have a refund? In some cases, he might say, I'm not happy. Can I have a partial refund? I don't like partial refunds, but it's his prerogative to ask. But it has to be all kept on eBay in case something comes of it, a dispute. For instance, he could easily call me up on the phone and say, Joe, I want $20 back or I'm going to leave you negative feedback. That's against eBay rules. But if he does that, I can't prove he did it because he contacted me off eBay. Whereas if he contacts me through eBay message system and says, Joe, I want $20 back or I'm going to neg you, there's ironclad proof of it. He's violating the rules and I can get the neg removed. So that, Eddie, in a nutshell, is why I don't want people contacting me off eBay. I hope I made that clear, and I think that I have a right to say that. Okay, now let's get to some other people's comments, and there's just so many, I'm just going to run right through everything without naming people. One person commented on pop-ups, whereas you click on a listing, well, you know, somebody's listing, you might want to buy it. And there's a pop-up that says, this listing has had 4 watches. You know? Again, that's eBay, in their own way, in my opinion, trying to pressure you into do the buy it now, if there's a buy it now available, or to make a high bid. Because they're trying to tell you 4 other people are hot for the item. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it the biggest problem with eBay? No. Another pop-up that was mentioned was where it says, people who have also bought this item have also bought the following items. And they show these related items down the bottom that usually have no interest to you whatsoever. Again, that's eBay trying to make a sale and hustle. Is it a huge problem? No. Is it annoying? Kinda. You know? One person wrote in about bill me later. I'm sure a lot of you get nag messages from eBay about bill me later, saying sign up now and get $10 credit or something. Again, I don't need bill me later, it's useless for me. But this one person said they went to pay for an item that they had purchased on eBay and it wouldn't let them pay. PayPal was insisting they sign up to bill me later before they processed the payment. So this person called up PayPal to find out what was going on, and they said that yes, it was a test situation only to a very small test market, and that they would take care of the problem, and in fact they did take care of the problem. I don't know why they would try and force feed anybody to take Bill Me Later. I don't think that's right. I haven't heard of this problem extensively. Only this one person mentioned it to me. Canceling transactions. If a buyer writes to you and says, I want to cancel a transaction, and you agree to it, why do you have to send the buyer the cancel transactions form and get them to agree to it? Because they've already asked you to agree to it, it should be a given. This is something somebody wrote into me, and it really fits in well this week because I had another screwball. She does a buy it now on one of my Toyota hubcaps. The item, it's a quantity auction, you could buy one or more. It clearly says you're getting just one for $59.95, brand new with free shipping. She pays right away with PayPal. Within 1 minute, she writes to me and says, cancel the transaction. I thought I was getting 4, not just 1. Now, my question is here, and this boggles me. She looked at the item, and obviously, she's blind. She can't read. All right? She does the buy it now, pays with PayPal. At what point did she realize she was only getting one hubcap in that short span of time? What clued her in that she screwed up? And why didn't she see that initially? This is something I've been thinking of, and it's happened more than once. They don't read the auction, but once they make the payment to PayPal, all of a sudden they become literate? Very weird. eBay is now offering to certain sellers 1 million free auction-style listings. Did any of you guys get this deal? Okay? I myself don't like auctions, and I'll tell you why. You can't require the immediate payment feature. That's why I love fixed price listings with immediate payment required. It gets rid of all the deadbeats. I've had several people mentioning other auction sites, such as Etsy and eBay. With Etsy, that seems to be an artsy and craftsy type site, which I would not fit into that category one bit. I can't even draw a straight line. eBay, I've checked that site out. With eBay, hold on, there's a landscape going by. eBay seems to be set up a little bit more like eBay. However, it's not getting traffic. I know a couple of you guys are into eBay. I saw one of your videos the other day. I'd like at least 1 or 2 of you to make a detailed eBay video explaining the positive values of it, if you can come up with some. I went on and I checked their site the other day to try and learn about it. And they have these tutorials, and every time you click on them, it's got this background music playing, which in my opinion, totally is distracting. I don't know why they have these tutorials with background music. It takes away from it. If anything, they should have a guy narrating it. I think that'd be much better. Don't mind me, I'm just reading my notes here. Several people have written in saying eBay needs to fine-tune its return policy. I agree with that. On both ends, both buyers and sellers. If there is a seller who's deceptive and is selling knockoff Taiwan goods and representing them as real, all right, and the person gets it thinking they're getting a real thing and they get this Taiwan garbage, then that seller should be made to pay return shipping because he's deceptive. How would eBay go about doing this? I don't know. That's something we got to think about. But, you know, I don't support deceptive sellers one bit, just like the way I don't support fraudulent buyers one bit. All right? I'd like to now move on to the main topic of the video, if I may. eBay sent out an email the other day, in addition to the user agreement, saying that at their discretion, they are going to hide certain sellers' listings. I'm not freaking kidding, guys. You know, can I just move the camera for a second because the sun's messing me up here. That's a little better. It's so rare we get a sunny day. Anyway, now eBay has made this statement, but they haven't given criteria as far as what does a seller do that's going to cause his listings to get hidden from public view. Are they listing in a category that's a violation, or are they small-time sellers, big-time sellers? This is one of the craziest policies eBay has ever instituted. I don't know why eBay would ever want to hide anybody's listings. If their listing is violating policy, well then cancel it, sure. But people are going to be paying money to have their listings hidden. And I think it's crazy. It's like the example I gave you last week. Alright? If I own a piece of property, alright, I'm selling used cars. I put cars out there. The landlord comes in and somehow hides my cars. He erects a big fence around all my cars. You can't see him. I'm paying rent for nothing. It's crazy. Right? I just don't understand why they would do such a thing. Of all their ideas they've ever done, this is probably one of the weirdest. And I've had no less than 8 or 10 people write into me telling me about this. What I would like is comments from you guys. I know none of you are going to approve of this, and I don't blame you. I'd like to know why they're doing it. Did any of you get this email? I assume most of you did, because I sure got it. And I'd like to know what you think is the mindset of eBay for doing such a move. Alright? As I said, they've never been seller friendly. But this goes above and beyond anything they've ever done in the past. I see no reason for this. If they were as aggressive with bad buyers as they are with bad sellers, we'd all be in a very better situation, I think. Why eBay would want to hide sellers' listings is beyond me, guys. I cannot fathom one valid reason why they would do this. You know? And then my next question is, if they do it to you or to me, how do we know if they did it to us? Alright? That is scary. I mean, if there's a policy violation and they notify us saying, you have violated policy, well, that's one thing. But why why hide the listings of an honest seller? I think it's wrong. And the fact that they came right out and publicly said this is a slap in the face. Why, guys? Somebody wrote in the other day, and this is a good point. They wrote in, and they wrote it on my last video. Remember the video I made the other day where I show you how to determine what the best offer price was when somebody sells an item for the best offer? eBay always hides it, and I show you how to. I've been showing you this, and periodically eBay changes the system, and I have to go back in and figure out how to do it all over again. Well, somebody wrote in that they said, Joe, eBay has to be watching your videos because they keep changing the formula. And I said, and I realized this person is correct, and I'm glad eBay is watching my videos. I've always said that. I know they're watching them. I'm glad they watch them. I'm glad PayPal watches them. But please, guys, help us a little. There are so many constructive points we talk about every week, both myself and the great subscribers below. If you guys would read some of them and apply them, like this business of hiding listings, nobody's going to benefit from that. Sellers will all lose out. We're actually paying to have our listings hidden, and eBay itself will lose out because hidden listings don't sell. I don't understand. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, guys, at eBay. If that's the case, please clarify it. Many times I have asked the good people at eBay and PayPal to do a Skype session with me. We're going to have a question and answer session for the Crazy New York Driver Show. And while they haven't said no, they haven't said yes either. They always say, well, we have to talk to media relations. I mean, guys, you have nothing to fear with Crazy New York Driver. All right? It's not going to be an ambush interview. It's going to be a friendly question and answer thing. You know me, I don't jump on people. I'm not mean. You know, it's just nice if we have a relationship that we can talk to people at eBay and PayPal and get the word out there, like a friendly dissertation. This could be a conduit to the good YouTubers, right up to people at eBay and PayPal. It would be great for everyone. Alright? The next item I want to talk about, since we have a few minutes left over, is a news item not related to eBay. Have any of you guys heard the following story? It's out of Oklahoma. A few days ago, firemen were doing some practice diving and they were testing out their sonar in a body of water right next to a road, and they came across two cars that were submerged in the water. So they figured there were two cars that had been stolen and dumped there. So in a day or two they got a wrecker, they attached a cable, and they pulled them out. The first car was a 1969 Camaro. Alright? When they pulled it out, there were bones inside, human bones from 3 people. When they pulled out the next car, that was an early 50s Chevy. It appears to be a 52 or a 53, looking at the body style of it. And that had human remains in it from 3 people. So the authorities went back to try and figure out what happened here. And as far as the Camaro is concerned, in the year 1970, 3 teenagers were driving on this road heading to a football game. They never made it to the football game. They disappeared off the face of the earth. Nobody knew what happened to them from the year 1970 to 2013 until the other day when they pulled out the Camaro with the remains in them. Alright? And the authorities said they're 99.9% sure this Camaro belongs to these teenagers. The other car, they went back in records, and that car, well, those people rather, were reported missing in 1969. With, again, no trace. It was some elderly folks that were driving somewhere in that old Chevy, and they never got to where they were going. So guys, think about it. 1969, these older folks are driving, and it showed you the road. And if I have time, I'm going to put a link to that news story because it's really super interesting. It shows you right off the road is a boat launch ramp. Now it looks to me like both vehicles mistook the boat launch ramp for the roadway itself and just flew right off, pshoo, right into the water, and went out and sunk. That's what I think happened in both cases. So the first one disappeared in 69, nobody ever knew it. The next one the next year in 70, boom, nobody knew it. And they were entombed in those submerged cars for over 43 years. Isn't that a weird story? What I'd like you to do is relate to me and to us, if you can, any stories you've heard over the years similar to that one. I'll relate one right now. When I was a kid, in 1977, there was an article in the Daily News, the New York Daily News, and I have the newspaper buried somewhere inside. I can't find it, or I'd show it to you. The same thing happened in upstate New York. Firemen were doing some practice diving in a body of water that ran right next to a fairly busy highway, and they came across a car. When they pulled the car out, it turned out to be this ancient 1962 car with the remains of 4 people in it, 2 adults and 2 kids. The police researched it, and they came back with a missing persons report from 1962. Apparently what happened is this family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, bought a brand new car, a foreign car called a DAF, a D-A-F. It was short for the word daffodil. I'm not sure if it was Swedish or German, but from what I've learned, it was supposed to be a very poorly constructed car. And the odometer had only like a couple of hundred miles on it, 200 miles. So what the cops think happened, because they disappeared in the middle of winter, the cops think this family was driving on the highway in a snowstorm, lost control, went down the embankment and into the drink, and that the falling snow obscured their tracks and they were never found for 15 years. And when I was a kid in '77, I thought that was freaky, that people could go undiscovered dead for 15 years in a submerged car. Now we got these cases for over 43 years. Unbelievable. Absolutely freaky. Guys, I've kept you long enough. I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry about the background noise. I never know when this stuff's going to happen. Please comment on any of the eBay topics you want, or the news topic, or anything you want. It's open forum. If you comment today, I can try and respond to some comments later today and tonight, if not Monday. Thanks for watching. See ya.